What I love about New Albany is the 4th of July parade.
Sports.
Starbucks. My other home.
Very supportive to my business, and I think businesses in the area kind of all look out for each other.
Everything.
I think that's a good place to start. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, no problem. So Catherine Duffy, right?
Yes.
Catherine is here with the Garden for All, right? So we'll get into that.
Okay.
You're not dressed for Halloween.
No, I'm not. I'm actually dressed for my day job.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what is your day job?
So my day job is I'm an Episcopal priest. I serve right now at St. Patrick's Episcopal Church in Dublin.
Great.
Just on the other side of the metro area. But I'm a relatively new priest, second career. So while I was training to be a priest was during the time that the Garden for All was, that we started it. And it was really growing into what it became or what it is today. And so it's been a really interesting journey to be on both of those things consecutively and figuring out how they all fit together.
Yeah.
Some of that I know the answer to and some of it I don't. I'm still figuring out how do we do all of this and what's the overlap.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So second career, what was first career?
So first career, I was trained as a therapist. I worked as a therapist for a short period of time. And when I was back in my 20s, I think I felt a call to the priesthood. Not I think, I know. I felt very strongly called to ordained ministry, but, with some health issues and some other stuff, I wasn't able to go forward and actually enroll in seminary at that time. And I really felt as I was getting older, I wanted to do something a little bit more structured and, for lack of a better term, a little more corporate. And so I took my therapy background and some of the interest I had in getting to know people and getting to know their stories. And I started working in the recruiting space, which I really loved. I know it sounds funny, right? But if you think about what recruiting really is, and what I was doing was executive level. So I worked for a small company here in the Columbus area where, they did placement of like high-level executive directors of nursing at nursing homes.
Yeah.
And so I was able to carve out this niche where I worked with faith-based nonprofit retirement communities and help them find leadership. And so what you do in a role like that is you get to know the needs of the organization really well, and then you get to know people really well, and then you try to find where the overlap is. And then just over about 15 years or so, I worked doing that at a big nonprofit called National Church Residences.
Yeah.
That's local. You might have heard of it.
I've seen them. They're like massive facilities, right?
They are. They have a couple different kinds, but mostly they are affordable housing for seniors.
Okay.
And they're not just in Columbus. The headquarters is over on Henderson Road, but they have communities across the country.
Wow.
At the time I worked there, now I've been gone from there about a decade, but about the time I left, they probably had about 350 communities across the country. And I'm sure has grown significantly since then. They also have some other models, permanent supportive housing for formerly unhoused people. They had, at that time at least, veteran-specific property on Livingston Ave. So they did a number of different things. Anyway, I worked in that capacity there. Ended up working for an HR software company, which may have been my favorite job of all of them. Surprise. I'd always been in the nonprofit space. I don't know. I loved that. But for the same reason, I got to work with people that were like me, trying to figure out how to make their business really work well with this resource that they had. I worked in implementation for this particular piece of software.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got to ask people, hey, what's going on with your business? And then let's look at this product that you've purchased and how do we sort of set it up and how do you use it?
Yeah. Is that how you got to know Brad?
No.
Oh.
No, we got to know Brad because, and this gets in a little bit to the garden, but Brad's wife and their daughters became volunteers at the garden.
Oh, okay,
and that's how we got to know him. So a little bit sideways, but yeah, there was a time when my husband and we both worked for software companies, and then I can tell the story, but long story short, then we didn't, and we now have the garden. So I can add a little bit more to that if you'd like. But
I'd like to get to know a little bit more about you, I guess. So where are you from?
So I was born in Arizona, but I say I grew up in Maine because that's where I spent most of my really formative years. And I even stayed in Maine through college.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah.
Then what brought you from Maine to here then?
So when I was finishing my junior year in high school, my mother took a job at OU. She's retired now. My parents are in their 80s. So my dad and my brother and sister were older. They were out of the house at that point. And my dad and I stayed in Maine until I graduated from high school. And like I said, I went to college in Maine. I stayed in Maine, and then my dad moved to Athens. And then, so they've been there ever since. And now that's been, 30 years they've been there. And I did, a little bit of everything during my 20s. It was a very expansive, really interesting. I'm really glad I had the time to be a little bit more adventurous. I lived in Boston for a couple years with friends, and then lived in North Carolina where I learned to become a therapist. I lived in Haiti for a while, came back, and then I had mentioned earlier having really thought I was on my way to seminary.
Yeah.
I was on my way to seminaries and a couple of months away and wasn't able to do that. And so I had left my job and left my life and really been prepared to go to seminary. And when that wasn't able to happen, I went to my parents' house in Athens, as any good 28-year-old does when they don't know what to do with their life. They're like, here I am. But, it was shortly after that I made a decision to try to get a little bit, just try to get at the time I called it a grown-up job, but I don't mean for that to sound as rude and pejorative as it does. I just felt ready at the time in my life to have a little bit more of a stable job. And it happened to be here in Columbus. And I bought a little house in Worthington that I loved so much. And I kept it for 8 years. And when my husband and I got married, I think we so wanted actually to live in that house. Yeah. But then it was one of those moments where I thought, where are you going to put your stuff? type thing, because I had really taken over the whole house. We both worked from home. We both needed an office. It was not not suitable for both of us to live there. So, and I think I answered your question. How did I end up here in Ohio? Like, that was really it. My folks awesome. Just kind of, they landed here. And then after some wandering, I landed here also.
How do you like Athens?
Oh my gosh, what's not to like about Athens?
You got to be a big Joe Burrow fan, right?
Of course. Yeah. Although it's funny, I was a New England Patriots fan. Just I come by it honestly, as I say. I wasn't just a fair weather fan. But talk about a lot of respect for somebody who's willing to give out of their abundance and be committed. I love it because he's so true to his roots, and he's not trying to be everything, but he's trying to be the most of what he possibly can be. Yep. There's a huge need. There's a huge need everywhere, but there's a huge need in Appalachia, and he's willing to do what he can, to help.
He's done a ton.
It's amazing. It really, really is. Plus, he's an awesome football player, and I'm always cheering for him. But that just,
it's a really, really cool story.
It's a really cool story. And he's from a really cool area. A great small town, beautiful space. I love going down there. And one of my best and oldest friends lives there. So, win-win.
Especially this time of year. Like right now, it's got to be
the best.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. There's a mountain biking trail system down there called Bailey's. I don't know if you're a mountain biker, but we love going down there. We'll split up our bikes. So we'll meet my friend and her husband, and
that's awesome.
Just cruise around. And it's just hard enough to be fun and not too hard that I feel like I'm going to kill myself, which is that's exactly my sweet spot for mountain biking. So,
well, we were talking about Pelotonia a little bit, and they have like off-road courses now, or not, I shouldn't say courses, but races. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's pretty cool because I didn't know this existed either, that it's like they're kind of like hybrids where you can go on the road, but you can also take it onto like dirt trails.
I did not know that.
So I don't think it's like full-blown mountain biking, but we were talking about in some of these like rural areas where your options to cycle are like literally just dirt roads. So yeah, you got to check that out. It's pretty cool.
I do. I have the gravel bike too. It's like that
Yeah.
in-between bike. So
Yeah,
I should
that's
check it out, because it's fun. It's a little bit different, but again, the likelihood of hurting myself goes down. So it's always something I'm thinking about. I really will check it out.
They did a gravel ride, and it looked awesome. And I think there was a hiking piece of it too. And then they like camped out in this area.
You're kidding.
It looked really neat.
Oh, that sounds so fun. I'll
I
definitely
wanted to
check
try
it
and
out.
go, and 4 kids got in the way.
Yeah, right. We did this bike ride. There's a big trail called the Gap Trail. It's called the Gap and the CNO, and it goes from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. And my husband and I and a friend did that a few years ago. We took 6 days to do it, and you can take anywhere. You can take any amount of time. Some people do it faster than 6 days. And why I bring this up is because some people, we saw these people on the trail that would be like one person on a bike and then like 3 of those like kid trailers all hooked up in a row. And you're like, oh yeah, we know they're out here for a month. They're literally riding to Washington, D.C. and they're going to get there in September.
That's
and,
awesome.
So there you are. You could bring your kids on the gravel.
Yeah.
All you need is a little carrier.
The
wagon.
That would be a mess.
I know, I can imagine. So,
That's awesome. Well, great. So you find find yourself here, and the church is right by Temple Beth Shalom, right? It's right like shared driveway.
yes. Yep.
And I've seen the like gardening go on there.
Yeah.
I'm an amateur gardener. My wife, when I told her I was doing this, she's like, "Can you like learn something so we can do a better job?" Because we do. We have a pretty big garden, a couple gardens actually, and I love to do it. And like some of the stuff we're successful at, a lot of it is like we just can't
figure it out.
Yeah, we just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Like potatoes, we do really good.
Okay.
We like that always goes really well. Onions are like hit and miss, but I also have an animal that just runs through the gardens and kids that throw balls in there.
Yeah, and I mean it's so weird. Next time we'll invite my husband and he can do like Q&A for how do I grow onions, because I'm the hired help when it comes to the actual like gardening piece of it. But oh my gosh, so much depends on how much rain you got and how sunny it is, and like temperature fluctuations at night, and what little animals are running through your. And I don't mean the animals that are your progeny. I mean like actual animals. Like if you have like a chipmunk or something, it can really, and it takes practice and
do you guys I'm sure you do soil testing and
yeah, we do. It's been a really interesting journey to grow. We started at the church. This was before we were members there.
Oh, okay.
Because over the years, I sold my house in Worthington, and Sean and I had gotten married, and we were looking for a place that was ours when we got married, and just we didn't actually intentionally buy our house in New Albany. We just thought, wow, like what an amazing place. It's got a lot of we're on one of the older homes, so we have a big lot.
yeah.
We thought about putting in our own gardens and things. And then the fact that we happened to be right next to the church, that when COVID started, that just allowed us to move into this particular ministry space. Now, where was I going with that? We have the growing space at the garden. So it started, and we can talk a little bit about how we started, but it started very small. But now, in addition to the space we have here in New Albany, we have a 3-acre organic farm that is in just a little bit out of town, just into Johnstown.
Yeah.
And so those two spaces together are what allow us to create, the tens of thousands of pounds of produce that we donate every year.
We'll get into those numbers.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. But I remember like just driving by there for, I don't know, the last 5 years or so and just like seeing the garden grow. And I'm what are those people? Like, what are they doing? I'm like, that's kind of cool. And then I'm like, maybe it's kind of like a community garden. So I've been watching it grow, and I had no idea what it was until we connected, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. So tell me, so it's 2022-ish, somewhere around there that you started this?
So the very short version of what happened, and I tell this story like it's a joke. It's sort of funny, but it's actually kind of not for a number of reasons. So I mentioned that Sean and I both worked for software companies, and we were both happy enough, but I think we both had a sense that there was probably something else out there for us.
Yeah.
And so at the end of 2019, we decided that we were both going to leave our jobs, and we were going to take 2020 and we were going to travel and figure out what the next phase of our life looked like.
Yeah.
We took one trip. It was to visit my mother-in-law in Florida. And when we got back from that trip, everything stopped because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so we ended up, and we're not the only ones that were in this boat. I mean, we ended up canceling a bunch of trips, and but because we weren't working, we had an enormous amount of time on our hands.
Yep.
And also, we're not alone in this too, but we were really distressed about what was happening because of the pandemic. I mean, we could see that the economy was not good and that people who were one day getting paid and the next day were not getting paid, like that was a problem.
Yeah.
And we had been members at All Saints at the time. And the church had ongoing relationships with the New Albany Food Pantry and with GRIN, Gahanna Residents in Need. And, we would do food drives occasionally and such for those pantries. And so we were like, well, we got time. Like, why not? And we planted 3 25-foot rows. So like, the length of this room, basically 3 across. And we grew, 750 pounds of tomatoes and squash and beans probably is all we grew that year. And I love looking back at the pictures because it's so small. And it was really just us. I mean, we had one other person and we intentionally didn't invite anybody else into the work. Because if you remember back at that time, like, we had no idea about COVID. Like if I touch a tomato and then you touch a tomato or so we didn't know. And so we have these photos of me with like our little 6-inch by 6-inch kitchen scale. And I've got like 3 tomatoes piled on it. And I'm like, okay, 3 tomatoes weighs 6 pounds. And then I put 3 more tomatoes and, and that's how we would weigh our produce. And, it was really something that was meaningful for us personally because we felt like we were doing something to help with our free time. And I think it was meaningful for the church as well. Because again, we were members, and now that I work at St. Patrick's, I'm not a member there anymore. But I think it was meaningful for the church at the time because they also felt like kind of through us, the church was part of the solution, and we were using the church's land. And then the next year we thought, well, that was great. Like, let's do it again. And so we pushed the fence out. And this is where you kind of started noticing. We pushed the fence out and we invited a few more people into the work and we grew more, and then pushed the fence out again, and then built a whole new section, like kind of down in the lower level, closer to the church building itself. And then the next year we had that, and we put up a high tunnel so we could grow in the winter. And, overall, here's kind of what has happened, and this isn't going to surprise you. I mean, we partner really closely with the food pantries that we work with. And now we've gone from 2 up to 10 entities. It's even more if you count the individual pantries. But, we've been able to grow more and more and more over the years, and their need continues to grow. And so we just continue to respond to that need. One of the needs that they said to us is, can we find a way, like their need doesn't go away in the winter. So can we find a way to continue to provide some produce to them in the winter? So enter the high tunnels now. And, but I don't want to completely get caught up on the hunger piece of it, because we say fighting hunger and growing community. And so for us, the growing community piece is as important. It's as important a value as the fighting hunger piece, because the way we think about it is those two things actually go hand in hand. Hunger is a community problem, and we try to invite as many people as we can into the solution. So lots of questions. Before, I mean, you guys are producing like thousands of pounds, right? Yeah. So before Garden for All, where are the food pantries getting fresh produce, or are they not getting fresh produce? I mean, I think you'd have to ask each of them individually, but Mid-Ohio Food Bank does have some fresh produce. And this is not at all to knock the amazing work that Mid-Ohio Food Collective does. I mean, they're really an amazing organization. And I think their model is a little bit different than ours. They're not really growing to the capacity that we're growing. And so I think sometimes at least what our pantries would end up with, sometimes the quality was great and sometimes the quality was not as great.
Yeah.
Which that may or may not have been what they were getting from the food collective or from the food bank. That organization does amazing work. So please hear that I'm just saying like, we're all part of the same solution.
Absolutely.
Here. So here's what I know. Like we are definitely supplementing anything that they're able to get from other entities, wherever they get it. Some get seconds from grocery stores. Some get, donations, overages from farmers. We grow specifically what our pantries ask for, what their patrons will eat and what they take. And what's amazing is how different it is from pantry to pantry. It's really interesting. But one thing I do want to say about Mid-Ohio Food Bank is that they are really feeling the pinch of the budget cuts. There was a huge amount cut from the state budget for fiscal year 26. And our pantry, all the pantry partners got a notification that going into July, there was going to be no fresh produce for them at all. So literally we and whoever else became it. And so there are so many pantries in Franklin County. We serve some in Franklin and a few in Licking, and we do a lot, and it's really amazing. And yet hunger is a big issue. Yeah. It really is. So
let's talk a little bit about that because admittingly so, I think I'm ignorant to food insecurities and maybe what the need is and how real the need is and what that looks like, particularly in a community like New Albany where it is really easy to look at us and be like, no way anybody is going hungry in that town. So just like share with me, because I don't know.
Yeah. And I know you can see me, for all of you watching at home, I'm pulling up my notes because I really did want to be prepared for this particular piece of the conversation. I think it's so important for people to know on the whole, that financial issues and food insecurity, they have no look, right? There are people in this town who, I don't know who they are, but they live in big houses and they drive nice cars, and something has happened in their life where their cash resources have really dried up. Yeah. And they don't have money to buy food like they did, and they have big families and they can't make ends meet. Those families do go to the food pantry. They are here. Yeah. And probably, if I had to guess, people try to do a really good job of hiding what some of their issues are. But so starting in 2020, admittedly, these don't tell the whole story. But in 2020, when we started, the New Albany Food Pantry served almost 150,000 meals in a year. So 281 families. Now, so far in 2025, year to date, they've almost doubled that number in 5 years. We just got a statistic from Grin that they're up 41% from the same month of September from last year in 2024. Wow. So 41% in a year.
Is that as easy as saying that much need has increased, or has the availability of resources increased, therefore more people to take advantage? Does that make sense at all?
It does make sense. Okay. I wouldn't claim to be an expert on that, but I think just as a human and knowing what I know about our pantry partners and about their resources, I don't think that they feel like they have that much more resources. Yeah. Like, now we have 41% more food in our food pantry, so we can serve this many more people.
Yeah,
I don't think so. Yeah. We talk to them all the time. Yeah. And that's not the reality that I'm understanding. Not to say that any of our pantry partners hasn't had good donations or increases in their budget, but I actually know that has not been the case. Many of them also, because they are pantry partners, they also felt the pinch of the budget cuts. It's not just Mid-Ohio Food Collective, it's all of the food pantries. And so they're having to make some really tough decisions about who they're going to serve and how often. And I'm not necessarily speaking about New Albany Food Pantry or GRIN right now, I'm thinking about our pantry partners as a whole, because we have a number of them in a couple different areas. They just can't serve as many people, and they're having to decide who can come, how often they can come or not. What kinds of food are they going to provide for people? Because something like fresh produce, and we give, we don't sell.
Yeah.
I mean, we give.
Yeah.
But if they were going to purchase food, fresh produce is expensive, but it also has the best health outcomes. So if you think about it, if people are eating healthier food and they're not getting sicker in the future, it's actually a better investment, you know?
Absolutely.
But they're not in a place right now where they can make that level of investment.
Yeah.
And so
it's kind of a vicious cycle.
And so we keep going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
These are things that keep me up at night. And to try to remember, as the co-founder and board president of this organization, to remember that what we're doing is critically important.
Yeah.
And that even though we can't solve hunger, right, permanently and forever, what we're doing is so critically important for this community.
Yeah.
Not just for the people who go to the food pantry, but for all of our volunteers, I think, that come to the garden and they're part of the solution.
Yeah.
Even if they're not going to the food pantry themselves, I see this as an invitation to the solution to a problem I wish we didn't have.
Yeah.
And then also I try to think of it as a really powerful witness to people to say, like, we all belong to each other.
Yeah.
We live in New Albany. Everybody in New Albany, you know, they belong to us. We belong to them. And so we live in Central Ohio. So people in Central Ohio who are hungry, that's actually my problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Children who are hungry, like, I don't want that. And so hopefully the people who encounter the Garden for All also feel like they're part of the solution, and they feel like they want to be. Like, I just see it as a tool to invite people into a better vision for our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love it.
So
I love it. I'm in. I want to sign up.
okay, you're in. See, and you tell your wife that you don't actually need gardening skills. People get so afraid. They're like, oh, I don't know anything about gardening. And I'm like, can you do this? Can you, like, put your hand out, like, to the size of a tomato, basically? Like, can you do this?
Yeah.
Like, you're hired, you know? Like, it's not hard. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
I
you're
always
good.
say, you know, we used to say our volunteers are age 3 to 93, but, like, we still get 3-year-olds, and now the 93-year-old is now 97. It doesn't roll off the tongue, like, quite as well, but the whole point being, like, any age, like, there's no age limit. You know,
Yeah.
So
I really like the approach of, one, man, your passion for this, and, like, I can just tell, like, this is who you are.
Yeah.
And I think, not being as focused on, like, you know, maybe some of the politics involved, or, like, the why we have this problem, that, like, you've made it this mission to, like, be a solution to it. Yeah. And bringing the community along with that is awesome to me, because it's easy, especially now, day and age, like, to sit and point fingers at why this, why that, why not, like, versus, like, just saying, hey, this is our community, this is us, we're all, you know, a part of this, like, here's a solution. I think is really, really, it's a unique, at least in my mind, like, a unique perspective of it, is to not just be like, okay, yeah, we're growing food, but an also equal important part of that is, like, the community, which I think is, like, probably crucial to what you're doing.
yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. It's nothing of what we do is about politics. That isn't to say that we don't lament the fact that our food pantries have lost money. We do lament that, but we exist to serve them, and so we just keep going forward. And I think, you know, the fighting hunger piece is so important. Like, when I think about children going to bed hungry, like, I think everybody hates that, right?
Yeah,
so that just kind of goes without saying. But the community piece, my hope, our community is wonderful. This is obviously a really great community. People love each other, and there are tight relationships here. I guess, I hope, I'm just sort of forming this thought for the first time ever, so bear with me. But I guess the best possible scenario for the growing community piece of it is that it actually does shape the community in a positive way, in the sense that here in New Albany, really anywhere, but here people can isolate themselves if they want to.
Yeah.
They cannot get out of their house. We have a lot of conveniences here. And we are one among many really, really good and amazing nonprofits here in our community who are trying to give people an opportunity to see themselves more as a collective body.
Yeah.
And so that in itself is transformative, I hope, for people. And if that affects how they vote, whatever, like that's up to them. But we don't have an agenda in that regard. We don't have an agenda in that regard.
Yeah,
Our agenda is a more connected community where fewer people are hungry, and hunger is everybody's problem. And I will say too, we're really, really interested in sustainability education, having people out in our space and learning about the way that we approach sustainability.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot there in addition to, the farming and the working in the farm. There's a lot more, that we haven't talked about. So
I think I'm a huge advocate for, like, at least with my kids, like we garden, we have chickens, like we do a lot of things outside. I hate tablets. I hate YouTube. I hate my kids don't have a phone. My son is like ready to, I don't know what he's going to do. But I just don't want him on. I just don't want him doing that.
Yeah.
I really don't. I want him outside. Like I tell him all the time, touch grass. That's what they used to say to each other. And so I think again, to your point, isolation and AI, and you can live in these virtual worlds now where obviously I feel strongly about human connection. Yeah. I think it's really neat to get kids that probably otherwise wouldn't go out and do that sort of thing. And it's great. I mean, it's fun to watch things grow, and then like to enjoy literally the fruits of your labor is like, my kids really, they love going to the garden. Like that's their favorite. Like they'll go out and they're still bringing tomatoes in. Like they just love, they'll pick stuff too early typically.
It happens.
Especially early on when like peppers and stuff start growing, but they enjoy it. Like they are 100% hands-on in that. And then when you sit down and have dinner and they're eating zucchini that's from the garden, like I don't know if they would otherwise eat zucchini, but they love it because we grow it.
Right, exactly. Because they were part of bringing it forth. I mean, what a gift that you're giving them for their future too, to have those relationships.
It's just cheap labor for me. No, I thank you. But I just, to me, it's important. It really is. I did an episode with Colleen Barber, who owns the schoolhouse.
Oh yeah.
And they grow. They have a garden that they grow, and then they have a chef at the school that like the kids will go out and pick they're part of growing it, cool. And then and it's part of their meals. I think is awesome.
It's just such an educational piece in that way, like in the basic education of like, this is how things grow, but also that sort of, I think about educating us about where our place is in the food system.
Yeah.
This is going to sound, can you edit this part out? This is going to sound like I'm bragging, and I don't really mean to, but we around the time in 2019, around the time, I won't go into this too much, but right before COVID, we started a composting program at All Saints, which I'd like to think that we were at least somewhat influential in the city starting the municipal composting program, which is one of the reasons why one of the drop-offs is our original drop-off point.
Oh, okay.
But one of the talking points that we would always talk about with composting is that it's actually our re-entry into the food system, right?
Yeah,
so like we're taking the food, ideally we grew the food, but we're taking the food that we ate, it's getting composted. It's getting returned to Ohio farmers, because that's what the company Go Zero does, is that they, it goes back to Ohio farmers who are then using it on their local crops. So then if we're buying local, it's like, as opposed to just buying something and throwing the waste away, and you sort of break the cycle of the food system, if you're willing to compost and buy local, you've actually like
You're feeding back
re-entered into
yeah.
the system, and it's just a powerful image.
I cannot compost to save my life.
What do you mean? What do you mean you can't compost? Oh no, but they do the municipal.
Yeah. So I got a 5-gallon bucket, like food grade, with a lid, so nothing gets in it.
Yep.
And I would take all the scraps, and put them in there, and then it would sit there, and then I would take it out to my I've got a bin with just leaves and some soil, and I would just keep throwing things in there. But then it'd be 100 degrees out. I have a 5-gallon bucket of food that's been there for a week because I forgot to take it out. And then I take it out there and I'm like, oh, this is gross. But I guess I am composting because at the end of the day, there is some soil in there that I use in the garden, but it just never goes the way I think it should.
Yeah. Well, and this is one of the amazing things really about municipal compost because, most people don't, I don't know where you live. We have a compost space in our backyard that we now drop in the municipal. We're not using it anymore. But most people can't compost in their yard either because they don't have space or because their HOA doesn't allow it or whatever. Yeah. But with the municipal, you don't even have to separate it. Animal products, bone and meat. And
really?
They take everything. You literally take your food waste, you put it in the bucket with the liner. Then you tie off the liner and you put it in the municipal composting and Go Zero comes and they take everything because they can generate the amount of heat that is needed to break down the animal products. So it's so much easier. Really, it's easier. Even though you have to drop it off, it's easier to do.
So I didn't even know this existed. So how do you just get a bucket you can buy these things yourselves or they provide it?
It's just a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. That's all it is. And what you need is, the easiest thing is just to get compostable bags. There are bags. We buy 7-gallon bags because you get a little fold over the top with the 5-gallon bucket. It's easier. But then you can just tie it off. And the drop-off stations in the city there's one in the shared parking lot of Temple Beth Shalom and All Saints.
Okay.
It's actually closer to the temple, but I got to give All Saints a little plug. There's one by Village Hall.
Okay.
And then there's one at the service center on Bevelheimer.
Nice.
And they're big, the 64-gallon bins. They're green because they're from Go Zero. That's their color. And you just open it and
throw it in,
chuck it in. And you can see on the city's website, they keep statistics of how many families are composting and how much we've composted as a community and how much energy that's saved. Not to get all completely off topic, but food waste in landfills is the number one cause of methane gas released into the atmosphere. So even taking a little bit of food waste out of the landfill really does make a difference. So compost. You got it.
I didn't know. And
you got it.
It's nice that you could just throw everything in.
Yeah, it is. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, because you're still you still have a lot of food waste and then trying to pull things that aren't animal.
Yeah. And at home composting, you have to do that. But with the industrial, you don't.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and I think that probably makes it easier for people who aren't necessarily, they want to compost and they want to do the right thing, but they're not really inclined to pick through all their food trash. And I don't even want to do that. That's really gross. So, Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what, so let's talk a little numbers on your organization and how much it's contributed or donated.
Yeah.
There's some big numbers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say that. My husband and I were just talking about this right before I left to come here. So our first year, 2020, 750 pounds of produce. Now in 2025, we just finished our 6th growing season. I mentioned earlier, we now have, in addition to the growing space at All Saints, which is about 1/3 of an acre, we have a 3-acre farm.
Yeah.
And between the two sites, we've donated, as of today, just under 35,000 pounds of produce this year. Measuring it in pounds, people are like, well, how much is a pound of produce? And it really just depends, right? A pound of zucchini could be this big, and then a pound of lettuce is one of those big boxes you buy at the store. So it really varies. We do have some measurements around servings, almost 200,000 servings for this year so far, which is a lot. It is. We are scaling up at the farm, we have a 2 more years kind of on our scale up plan, because this was our first year at the farm. Like we sort of need to figure out the difference between being a large organic garden, which is what we have here, and a small organic farm, which is what we have at the farm. It's just totally different. And so,
are there regulations that you have to contend with, or?
No, not really, because we're not certified organic. There's we are committed to using organic practices for our sustainability values, but we're not certified organic because we don't have to be. We're not selling. We're not selling. We're just donating. It's just good for us to be able to say that we use organic practices. It feeds into one of our core values of sustainability, but also our other core value is that one of our other core values is that everybody deserves the best that the earth has to offer. So organic produce without chemicals, without pesticides, without any of that is healthier for people, we believe. And so that's why we do it. But no, it's not really. It's just a matter of like, the land is so big, we have to do things, we have to use a tractor, which Sean loves. The tractor is his favorite thing. But I mean, it's just too big. You can't. We have some machines that will do the planting, because like to hand plant 3 acres, it's just, it's not efficient, So he has systems and processes that he's.
Does he have any farming background?
No, I mean, no. He grew up on a piece of rural land, really gardening at his dad's knee. Yeah. So the men in his family, I mean, he has brothers. So the men in his family they know about this stuff. They sort of know through osmosis, in the same way that your kids are going to know because they did it when they were kids. But he has spent so much time educating himself on organic
tractors.
Tractors, right? Of course, yeah. When he listens to this, he's gonna be like, "I can't believe you said that," but he knows it's true. Yeah. But like organic farming practices, both how to grow the best quality produce. And flowers, and I can go back to that in a second, but also like, what are the efficiencies that we need to really make it realistic to grow at the scale that we're growing? Because in 2 years, we want to grow 100,000 pounds. Like that's what we feel the capacity of a 3-acre farm is 100,000 pounds of produce. Now, there's a lot of steps between here and there, but he has learned how to do that. What kind of machinery do we need and how to use it? What kind of staff do we need? What kind of volunteers can we bring into the, there's a lot there. So that's.
Yeah. Not like, how do you keep the pest away? How do you keep that? Cause that's what just destroys my garden every year is like, we tried doing Brussels sprouts this year and the plant's like huge and awesome. We're getting all excited and then something like just decimates it.
Yep. Yeah. It happens.
And I'm not like, I don't want to spray anything on it. Right. No. So it's like, there's probably a lot. There's a lot to learn, I'm sure.
There's a lot. And I'm not going to pretend that I can sit here and tell you how to keep stuff off your Brussels sprouts, but I can tell you that he does a lot of learning, intentional learning about that stuff, about what are the organic, I don't want to, chemicals is not the right word,
just
but
what can you use?
What can you use that's organic, that doesn't harm soil and doesn't harm people? And what can you cover up, just sort of intermittently and periodically to keep pests off? Yeah. What do you just need to plant more of? Because you're going to lose a little bit to pests, and you know that. There's a lot of things that he tries to do, but ultimately we're committed to that. It's better for the environment. It's better for people. It's better for the soil. It's just.
Yeah. And you're not chasing a bottom line either, which is nice.
No.
I know that there's some responsibility, in being like fiscally sound, I'm sure, being a nonprofit, but you can make decisions that are like best for the end, consumer, which I think is really important.
Yeah. And I think people who financially invest in our organization, they understand that, and actually that might be attractive to them. Yeah. That we do grow the highest quality produce for, if you're visiting a food pantry, you maybe don't have a lot of access to the highest quality food out there. And so that's important to people. And sustainability also is really important to people in general. And so I think when people invest in an organization, they understand what they're investing in. So, and up to this point, we've been successful with, we don't feel like we're losing a lot to pests, it's more work, but we feel like it's worked out. The other thing that we do, I'll mention briefly, is we have a section of our space, here in New Albany, and then actually another section in Johnstown where we grow cut flowers. In 2021, which was our second year, we planted flowers with the sole purpose of bringing in bees to pollinate our vegetables. And then at the end of the year, we just cut the flowers and we put them in bouquets and sent them to the food pantry. And we got such a positive response from people who just said, oh my gosh, to get to take home flowers. Never get flowers. We were just like, oh, well, we need to keep doing this. And so we have a section of our space that's just cut flowers, and we have people who feel really called to be the flower people. And so during the flower season, they come mostly on Fridays. And they cut and arrange the flowers. And when we do delivery, we just send flower bouquets.
That's really neat.
And it fits with our commitment to offering people beauty and quality from the earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
are you familiar with Red Twig Farms?
Yes.
Yeah. So Red Twig does, I think it's tulips, where you can buy tulips and then they will place them throughout the community, and it's so neat. So you could just go say, hey, I want to buy 5 bouquets or whatever, and then they will find a home for them, whether it's randomly throughout the community. Yeah, that's
really nice. It's the
really
same
neat.
Idea. It's you're sponsoring tulips. I mean, you're sharing that bit of brightness with other people, and we never want to forget how important spiritual and emotional health is for people. Yeah, especially if you're visiting a food pantry, probably not the favorite day of your life to have to go, ask for help and get something that I don't know. These are just the things that I think of, and to be able to just really hopefully brighten somebody's day in that way too, and contribute, to their happiness, and communicate that they are so valued that they deserve something that is extra. Yeah. Yeah. Luxurious that maybe they wouldn't purchase for themselves. I don't know. It just feels nice.
It does. So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's such a small, big to them, right? Big to a lot of people, but it's
just something we've always felt.
That's cool.
Called.
And then I've seen you at the farmer's market.
Yes.
You sell flowers there or for donation, right?
We do. Yeah. So, mostly we started going to the farmer's market a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, really just to be able to talk to people and spread awareness about our organization. We're hoping that people are starting to learn who we are, but it was a lot of being like, hey, come to our booth, and have you ever heard of the Garden for All? And they're like, no idea who you are. And so, we do it for donation. I think we don't sell our stuff. It's not typically what I always say, because people do offer sometimes to buy it, and it's just outside of our mission. Yeah. Our mission is to give it away to pantries. But we do take donations for our flowers if people want at the farmer's market to give a small donation, take home some of our bouquet, and hopefully talking with the people who are at the market about what our mission is and wanting to get involved in the future. I mean, that's more the point than, we're not really trying to make money from that. We're really trying to help people know why we exist, and then they get something pretty too. So that's nice. So
and it makes the farm look nicer.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, there's some other beautiful flower vendors too that we're certainly not trying to upstage, but so
that it's a super creative way. I mean, that you got to be creative.
Yeah. And we've tried a couple different things. Like one year, this was maybe 2 years ago, we were like, hey, if you go buy some produce and give it to us and put it in the bin, we'll give you some flowers. So we ended up, being able to make another big donation, from, cool. So we've done a couple different things, but mostly we just want people to know who we are and get excited about being part of the solution to hunger, So
So what's next?
Well, I mentioned scaling up the farm. I mean, I think that, that feels very important to us. We're constantly growing our volunteer base, and we have lots of companies in the area wanting to bring teams out to work. And we have lots of individuals that want to come out and work, and that work actually happens year round. We now, I think I said this before, but if I didn't, We now have 4 tunnels that we grow in year round
Nice.
because, food pantries
Yeah.
still need produce during the wintertime. And so it's really expanding our core mission. That is so important to us. Not even just that hunger is increasing. It is. But even if it weren't, there's still more, there's still a bigger issue than, currently, like there's still plenty of landing places for the produce that the Garden for All is growing. And so that continuing the work, expanding community awareness. And then we have a lot of, board is really working through right now, as we scale the farm up and we're fully working, what is our place within, the sustainability education landscape?
Yeah.
What is our place in the middle of kind of the job skills, or agricultural training landscape? I mean, these are conversations that we're having right now, to really lean into that intersection of the fighting hunger and the growing community, because they're so intertwined. And so, that is kind of what's next for us, as we get to 100,000 pounds and maybe beyond.
Yeah.
So,
that's, I'm just trying to think, so what's like your favorite vegetable to grow there? Like what's the most popular thing you guys grow?
oh gosh, that's a two-part
All
question. My personal favorite vegetable personal favorite vegetable is Brussels sprouts, but, in your defense, they are notoriously hard to grow.
Okay. Good,
They're
good.
really hard. So, it's so interesting. There is probably not one most popular. What we've noticed, we are in constant communication with the food pantries, which I said before. Many of them will take everything and anything we can bring them.
Yeah.
They all want the basics. Everybody is great with tomatoes and zucchini and squash and lettuce. Right now we're really in the cold weather leafy green season. So we're doing a lot of lettuce, kale, collards, mustard greens. But some pantries will say, bring us all the tomatillos you can get.
Yeah.
But don't bring us any Swiss chard or people don't like it. And I'm thinking, I just paid $15 for that at the farmer's market. But then we have other pantries that are like, oh my gosh, our people love Swiss chard. They cannot get enough of it. And so we do have some subsets where, we have one pantry that they want all the okra and collards that we can grow.
Yeah.
Like they'll just take all of it. And then others that are like, no, our people don't really like that. And I just think it's such an interesting sort of symbol of the different like unique cultures that have grown up around the Columbus metro area. And I find it so
really
fascinating
cool.
and also a way to dignity is such an important thing. It's such an important value to be able to offer people food that they like and food that's familiar to them. So they can cook it at home in ways that's tasty and meaningful to them. And so, that was a long answer to your question, is that every pantry will say, this is our favorite. And we'll we'll do our best to grow that.
Yeah.
And
I think that part of it is really cool. Instead of like, okay, what's easy and can we produce the most of?
Yeah.
And like, how could we get to that, 100,000 pounds or whatever, but, to be able to give the areas geographically, culturally, like the things that they want to use, that's really cool.
Well, thank you. I mean, and I think the truth is that none of this is actually about us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, this is not about Catherine Duffy or Sean Duffy. I mean, we exist because the food pantries exist, right? Like if the pantries weren't there, we wouldn't be there. But ultimately, it really is about people and not just what they're going to eat, but also how they feel, how they live in the world, if they know that they're valued, and they are. And I mean, this is some of my personal faith and my personal values, but I don't think it's rocket science to say, actually, everybody is valuable. Everybody is valuable. And I think part of communicating the fact that we think everybody is valuable is saying, and you get to eat things that taste good to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm trying to think of something that I hate. And if you were like, oh, okay, I actually hate onions. So if you were like, I'm
Is this
sorry,
hypothetical? Or
no, I actually hate onions.
Oh, interesting.
You're judging me. I can see it. I should have gone with something else that I hate. I can't think of anything else that I hate. I hate milk. Do you like milk? You look like you like milk. But if you were like, Catherine, I know you're hungry, but I'm sorry, all you get is red onions.
Yeah.
Like that's. Yeah. I think I would be sad about that because I actually hate them, So we actually went the opposite of that. We there's something about communicating value to people and saying, I've actually heard you. You have said something and I have heard you. And so I am going to adjust my behavior.
Yeah.
So getting to 100,000 pounds, that's not like, we're not going to get a gold star from anybody for growing 100,000 pounds of produce. Like, we don't care. It could be 110 or 99 or whatever. It doesn't, it's just what we estimated the capacity of the farm to be, is to be approximately 100,000 pounds. We will have realized our mission if we have communicated our core values out into the world.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much produce we grow, we would have realized our mission.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's gotten lost in the last however many years, I feel like, just caring about people, or just seeing needs and service and giving in abundance. Like, it seems like we've lost a lot of that.
How do you notice that? I know now I'm interviewing you, but I'm really curious. You talk to a lot of people in the community, like you must.
You know what I find when people have differences without real dialogue and conversation and getting to know people, it just becomes these like polarizing issues that are like dividing people, that like we all kind of want the same thing. Nobody wants to see a kid go hungry. Yeah. Like, let's find a way that doesn't happen. I think we could all collectively agree on that. It's not that simple, obviously. I wish it was. But I just feel like there's just not enough of this.
Yeah.
Like, getting to know people. I've had people on the show that in a million years I would have never like sat down and talked with, that like I had a really fun time, like just really, really enjoyed it. And we are two very completely different people, but none of that mattered. Like, it's not like we talked about it or like brought it to light, or it was like just two people getting to know each other.
Yeah. And you do have that common, I'm assuming, a common goal of investment in this particular community.
100%. Yeah.
And you said something earlier when we were talking that I'm going to take away and really reflect on, because it was really meaningful to me, about, we actually exist regardless of any political landscape.
Yeah.
We existed before, we exist now, and we are still focused on the mission. And it is so like, from a values perspective and from what we are actually trying to do in terms of putting seeds in the ground and getting them to grow and giving food pantries, like our mission is actually not, like, it has nothing to do with that. Sometimes we have to ride the waves of that, like, it's not that politics doesn't affect what we do, but it actually, like, we're not, that's not what we're about.
Yeah.
You know? And that's meaningful, I think, to sit in that space, especially in a time where there's a lot of disagreement.
Yeah.
To just take a breath and say, okay, like, this is who we are. We are here to serve in this particular space, and this is what we're called to in this moment. And you just kind of have to let the rest of it go.
For sure.
For
sure.
So
I like the hyper local sense of this, of what you're doing too, because it's like, how can you serve your community, the immediate needs here, kind of first?
Yeah.
Which is neat.
Well, it's been so interesting that you say that, because, for a while, New Albany Food Pantry is geographically obviously the closest to where we're at, and Grin is, a tiny bit further away. And that was who we served. And the reason we branched out is a good problem to have. We actually had more produce than the pantries could take. And so we had to branch out a little bit, but our mission stays the same, which is, I think it kind of has to, because, we deliver everything we have. It used to be we delivered everything the day we harvested it. Literally, we took it out of the ground and drove it to the pantry. But now we actually harvest so much and so often that sometimes we have to store things for 24 to 48 hours in our. But if you think about, like, even what you buy at Kroger, you're not getting it 48 hours after it was harvested. There's some travel time in there. And so, but I think just by definition, our mission will remain hyperlocal because I don't feel like we're going to outrun the need in the area.
Yeah.
We serve 10 entities. One of our entities is a little bit bigger, and so they sometimes push produce out to other pantries, but we still say 10 entities, and they're all in a very narrow radius of where we are. So that is our... I've never thought of us being like, I've never used the word hyperlocal to describe us, but we're never not going to be that, right?
Yeah.
So
the closer you are to the people in need, the better. Because because I was thinking of that earlier, is like, man, how do you have the ability to store it? That's got to get expensive. I'm sure refrigerating this stuff is not cheap. And then, getting fresh produce to the pantries, and then do the pantries have the ability to keep things fresh? Like, that's got to be, sounds like a logistic nightmare.
Yes. I don't want to say nightmare, but it's something that we think about a lot. Here in New Albany, we do have, we have a couple of large, commercial refrigerators. At the farm, we actually have 2 big walk-in fridges. Even still, we have filled both of those from time to time. And so what's interesting that we've noticed with our pantries that this is why we're scaling up, thank goodness, why we didn't go right from 0.3 acres to 100,000 pounds. We're like, we need to figure this out, because there is a difference. We have some pantries that are open every single day of the week, and that's their model. And then we have some pantries that are open once a week, and some pantries can pick up, and others, we have to drop off. And there are some, there's some logistics to figure out. And as we scale, we'll have to figure out, what is the best and most efficient way. You mentioned earlier, being good stewards of our resources. And I think there is a piece of that in the sense of being as efficient as we can with staff time.
Yeah.
So that is something, as we look at our staffing needs, let's say for 2026, which are going to be greater than 2025, it's like, okay, what do we actually need these people to be doing? And trying to figure out how to make that more efficient. It is that, I think, is something we hadn't really realized until this growing season, the logistical piece of it. What is it actually going to be like to have this farm with actually so much produce, getting it out to 10 entities. So fortunately, we made it through this growing season without too many hiccups, and we have a little bit of a slower time right now in the colder months where we can sit down and figure some of that stuff out.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's a lot. It is. It's so not what we thought when we had our 3 25-foot rows and I was weighing things on my kitchen scale. Like, we didn't sit down and say, and that has been one of the most beautiful things about this as a person of faith, we did not sit down and say, oh my gosh, in 5 years, we're going to be on a 3-acre farm. Like that, when I say that did not happen, that so did not happen.
Yeah.
And for corporate people who are used to planning and measuring everything, to just sometimes saying yes to things and not being sure exactly how we were going to figure it out, but having the faith that we were going to figure it out and that this was the right thing. We've had that every year. We didn't know about, when we got the opportunity to take over the farm, we were like, wow, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Of course it's a yes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a yes knowing exactly how we were going to do it. We just had enough faith that we could do it.
Yeah.
And that it was the right thing. And it has been.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it really has been. It's been really amazing. And, fewer hiccups than we could have had. So, yeah.
So what, part of what you said, the faith piece of that, like just having faith in it. So, the football program has an acronym they use is FINISH, and F is faith and family. And so, at the freshman level, we the current head coach, Nate Bush, does these finish talks before each game. So there's 9 finish talks. And the faith one was interesting to ask kids what they think faith is. Like, what do you think? Like, how would you define faith? And that was really interesting. But the big takeaway from that is like trusting and believing in something without having evidence is kind of like was the easiest way to define faith. And I hope that those young men took something away from that. But that's what you're talking about is like just go. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it is, I think it really is. And this belief that, God is faithful to God's people. God is faithful to all people. And that applies to us as well. And that doesn't mean everything always works out perfectly. And I think that is one of the hard things. And, as a clergy person, I see sometimes people struggle with their faith when things are going sideways in their lives because things go sideways sometimes. And it's really hard, but that God is always faithful. And if for some reason this wouldn't have worked out for us and it would have been a swing and a miss, like God would have been in that too and accompanying us on that journey. And I think that's okay. And just this sort of believing that we're all trying to do our best. And if we make decisions as best we can with values that feel good and right and loving, community focused and, all of that stuff that at least my faith tells me are the most important things.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay, like in one way or another, So, not that I don't worry sometimes, but I can. But it's genuine to say that this has been a journey of faith for us, and saying yes to the next step.
Yeah.
Saying yes to the next step every year, and feeling like this yes led to this yes, led to the next yes, led to us being able to say yes to the farm, and that, yeah.
And now you got a lot of responsibility.
We have a lot of responsibility, yes. Yeah. I mean, you're a parent. I wonder if you feel this way sometimes with your kids, but sometimes I think, oh my gosh, like, do I have what it takes?
Yeah.
And also, as a person of faith, I honestly think like, not no. Yes. I mean, I do think, but I also think that we continue to grow and we continue to be accompanied. You know what I mean? Like I think the way to make something small and limited in its scope is to think I have it all figured out.
Yep.
And that there's an expansiveness in saying I've been equipped up to this point, and I can grow it up to this point, and something else that feels bigger than me will, and that'll be the next yes.
Yep.
And then the next yes after that will appear, and then the next yes after that, and forever, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I actually think a life of faith is.
Yeah.
And this has been a really amazing incubator to live that out, and to try to, at least for me, keep my own anxiety, my own worries under wraps, and just know that regardless, everything's going to be okay. It feels like a really big responsibility. We're so fortunate to have the support of some folks in the community in New Albany.
Yeah.
And it's the end of the year. Like, we're going to be asking for more support to continue with our mission for next year. And, we take that responsibility really, really, really seriously.
Yeah.
Like, people give us money, and we do this mission with the money that they give us.
Yep.
And like, you feel it's an enormous responsibility to do that well.
Yeah.
And with integrity, for the good of the community, for what they signed up for. So it's a lot to hold. But
how, so speaking on that, if somebody wants to help out, what do you need? Mm-hmm. And then like, how does somebody get involved?
Yeah. So there's a number of different ways. Like any nonprofit, we always need financial contributions. I mean, this is how we function. We don't sell any of our produce. And so, we really are so grateful for the individuals who are willing to support us, the foundations, the corporations who believe in our mission and who really believe in ending hunger in our community and growing community connections here in New Albany. In addition to that, we have gosh, our volunteers are so critical to the work that we do. Not only do people come and work, they work here in Albany, they work at the farm, but really, like, as we talked about, growing community is our mission.
Yeah.
So in order to have that, like, we just love it when people come out and participate with us. People who are willing, who work at places that have service hours, or they think that their companies where they work would want to come out and, maybe have a volunteer team for a day or take a tour. We always do tours. So I love giving tours.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it is the best. It takes about 90 minutes to go through both the place here in town and the farm, and just hear a little bit about our mission and see the space. We do them year round. We just, and it really, once you see it, you really get what it is we're doing. And so that's another thing. And just being willing to learn about what we do and then get excited and tell other people about what we do. And then I'll say this too, because our food pantries are, they're our partners, right?
Yeah.
And right now, food pantries need help. They need support. We support them, and we hope that other people are supporting them. I know today is a really big day for food pantries, because they're expecting tomorrow with SNAP benefits changing and that being a very unstable space right now. Hopefully that instability is going to come to an end soon. But right now our pantry partners are very worried. And so in addition to supporting us, supporting your local food pantry, you can never go wrong with that.
Yeah.
So,
If I have an abundance in my garden, can I donate that directly to food pantries, or do you facilitate that in any way? Like, because like on my street, there's always like free produce or like take what you need, give what you can, like, and I always think about the amount of produce I know that just goes to waste, like tomatoes that sit on the windowsill that like rot because we can't eat them fast enough. Like, that can be donated?
Absolutely.
Directly to the pantry?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can take it to New Albany Food Pantry. You can take it to Grin. You could take it anywhere. If people don't want to do that, we've actually had people drop their produce off at our place in New Albany, and we just add it. You need me to come pick it up? I can do that too. But I know the New Albany Food Pantry does take produce donations. I've seen in the past actually, like drop off bins for produce. I think they probably only do that in the heat of the summer, like when things are really abundant. Yeah. But they do take private produce, which essentially was what we were at the beginning. You know? So, and just. That's really wonderful too, because remembering the nutritional value of fresh produce and how it's probably the first thing to go when people are trimming their grocery budgets.
100%.
People just aren't buying the more expensive stuff. So, but the benefit of that for people's long-term health is so important. So I encourage everybody to donate that stuff before it goes to waste for sure.
I think there was like during COVID, there was a big push for people to like grow their own food, and which was like, hopefully some of that stuck. I don't know how much of it did.
I don't know either. I mean, I'm not sure. We've taken our garden beds out now that we have the farm. We can't even tend our own backyard garden. But, I hope some, because it is better for people. It's better for all people.
Yep.
It's better for all people to eat fresh produce. Just some people have the means to buy it, and some people get it from the food pantries. And, and that's it. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
I always like to wrap things up. Well, first, is there anything else that you want people to know about the mission, about the farm, about you want people to come out and see it?
Yeah.
You need some, you could always use financial help.
Of course.
But you want more community.
Yeah. All of that.
Okay.
Yeah. All of that. Yeah. Our website, thegardenforall.org. I'm on there. People can email me directly if they're interested or if they have questions. No, I don't know. I feel like I've talked for a very long time, so it's hard for me to come up with what else I want people to know.
Yeah.
No, I think really just that I'm really grateful for the opportunity to talk about our mission. And I think once people get out there, they get it and they see and they stand shoulder to shoulder with other people. I think I said this to you earlier, but I do want to say, I notice people are intimidated with the gardening thing, with the farming thing.
Yeah.
But, we believe and we say and we make good on the fact that there's a job for everybody. You actually don't have to know how to farm or garden to be helpful and to participate in the mission. So
Yeah.
I try to take away the intimidation factor. We have whole teams of people whose job it is to just pack and weigh stuff and get it ready for delivery. So, I mean, community groups come out. I mean, we love having the baseball team and the, National Honor Society. There's just a lot of opportunities.
I really like that idea. Like Ronald McDonald House Charities. I don't know if you're familiar with them at all. They'll do like, you could like sponsor as a business or sometimes families to go cook meals.
Yeah.
So like that an organization will be designated for that meal, and then they serve that meal to everybody that's in the house, which is kind of the same idea, like bringing teams in, letting them work for a day or whatever it is. It's kind of cool.
We love that. And especially, trying to get more and more companies here in New Albany. And we do have some. We have a lot, and we have a number of repeat volunteers. But to me, it feels like there's a number of companies in New Albany. If they just knew about us and about our mission, they would be like, oh my gosh, absolutely, we want to come out. What we've noticed with the efficient farming practices is that it's really efficient and easy to get stuff into the ground. We could plant rows in 10 minutes. We planted 100 yards of whatever, but getting it out of the ground is where we could use extra hands. And so you get 10 people to come in and pick tomatoes or to cut cabbage or whatever for a day. It makes a huge difference in our work and our mission. And hopefully it does that same thing, engage individuals in the Solution for Hunger and engage the businesses that are here in our community in the Solution for Hunger too. So that is also growing community where individuals and businesses are all engaged in the solution. So
It's awesome.
So come out and work year round. Take a tour.
I'm going to.
So are you?
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
Right. Very
absolutely.
cool.
And I will put my kids to work out there.
All right, sweet.
Yes.
Tire them out. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the cruel things I could do.
When it gets really cold, send them out.
That's what I was thinking. Like stuff's going to need done when it starts to freeze.
Yeah, you know it.
They'll love it. They would love it. They would love to do
so
it.
Fun.
I'd like to finish with, and I don't always remember to do this, but like being specific to New Albany, like what do you enjoy doing in New Albany? Do you have a favorite spot, restaurant? Do you have a favorite park, place to go? Like what is your favorite to do in New Albany?
Wow. It is so hard to pick one thing. And I don't blush often, but I feel myself blushing right now because I'm like, I don't want to get it wrong. I might have to name a couple of things. I'm naming this only because it's the first thing that popped to my mind. I went to the Fox in the Snow this morning, and
How did I know you were going to say that?
I don't know. Is it because their pastry case is like art?
Yeah.
It's incredible. And amazingly, this morning, for some reason, I did not get anything. But the reason I name that is because every time, every hour, every day, it doesn't matter when I go there. The place is jammed.
Yep.
And I love it. I love those places. And I know that that's not the only one in New Albany, but I just love being in those spaces that feel like real community hubs.
Yep.
Although now that I'm here and I've seen this beautiful space that you're in, this may have bumped the Fox in the Snow out of the top. I don't want to mention that because I don't.
You could bring it in. You could bring the Fox
exactly. I could play some golf or whatever you guys have going on here. So I'm going to name one other thing. As a matter of fact, this has come to my mind. I've just been blown away by the things that the New Albany Community Foundation does.
Yeah.
I go to as many of their lectures as I possibly can. I just feel like their commitment to quality conversation, mind expanding on all fronts. I mean, they talk about sustainability issues. They talk about current events. They have really good music. I mean, it's this really meaningful organization that is so committed to New Albany on a lot of different levels. And I feel really fortunate to be in a community that has an entity like the New Albany Community Foundation that does work like that. Yeah, that has been really special. I think to become more aware of that over the last 3 or 4 years. We've lived here 8 years, and I think it took us a couple years to really realize what a gift the New Albany Community Foundation is to this community. So
do they support?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's actually not why I'm saying that.
Yeah. So I've got and I know I've mentioned this before because it's something that really stands about doing this podcast is, a teacher. I met with Irene Adams in the Karen Wellington Foundation. Are you familiar with it? So you got to watch that episode.
Okay.
They basically they give gifts of fun to families, women affected by breast cancer, and they've expanded it since then. And they're all about like they just say yes first, like whatever you need, we're going to do it. And I could go on and on. It's a really awesome organization. But I met with Irene, and I ended up nominating a teacher here in New Albany, and the foundation had given some money to the Karen Wellington Foundation, and they wanted it to like if somebody was going to receive a gift from that, it would be somebody within the school district community. And so that was like the first person to receive it. And I'd like just making that connection, and like that was just so cool. So yeah, lots of good things happening at the foundation.
It's amazing.
Sure.
It really is. What a resource for the community. I mean, I just, but it's funny that now that we've been talking, I'm thinking of like 10 different things I love about this community. I mean, gosh, like the Diwali celebration that they just had, and like there's so.
Did you go to the Diwali, or you saw the?
I've been. I didn't.
Yeah.
I think we were out of town. I couldn't go this year, but I went last year.
It's awesome.
It's really cool, isn't it?
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it. There's a commitment to just celebrating all kinds of diversity and fun, and it's such a really neat thing about this community. So.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stop because I'm thinking of like 10 more things I could say. I just love our community so much.
Yep.
And just the fact that an organization like ours can exist in this community, that there's enough community support and enough commitment to the community that supports the Garden of All. I mean, it just says a lot about who New Albany is. So.
Yeah, there's so many good organizations and people and ties to New Albany doing great things.
Doing great things.
And it needs to be highlighted more for sure.
Yeah. Well, this is why you're here.
That's right.
You're the great community connector.
Hopefully people listen and come out to the farm.
Seriously. So what's next for you then? Who's next?
I don't know. So because of football and just work, and like I haven't had as much time, honestly, getting guests can be kind of tricky because people, you could listen to it, but like you said, like trying to figure out what is it? What is the motivation? What am I walking into? I think people are nervous, and rightfully so, right? So I think sometimes getting people to do it is difficult. Nonprofits are like, yes, I want to get it out there. Good, bad. I don't care who you are. I want to talk about it. But yeah, sometimes people are a little hesitant. They have some reservations on doing it.
Yeah.
Which I get. It could be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you say the wrong thing and then it's out on the internet forever.
Exactly.
So yeah,
exactly.
Hopefully I didn't do that. But yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to keep plugging away. I just love doing it. I just have a ton of fun.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, if I can help make connections or get the word out there, like I feel like I'm searching for these things. So like Garden for All is something I found because I'm just actively looking for things like that. But yeah, if you're somebody in the community that has been like me driving by there going, look at those crazy people.
What are they doing?
They would have no idea.
Yeah.
Right? So hopefully, hopefully this helps educate some people.
Thank you. I'm really, really grateful that you took all this time just for me to talk about all the awesome things we're doing. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Did you have fun?
Of course. See, and I wasn't even nervous. I mean, really. Yeah. So I did. Thank you. Yeah. It's really great.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Be sure to follow us on social media for news, updates, everything that's happening in New Albany. You can visit whitefencelivingpodcast.com. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode of White Fence Living.
What I love about New Albany is the holiday tree lighting.
I love the Heights Center. The walkability and convenience.
My favorite part of New Albany is you.